Hi guys, welcome to Lola Fafi Tutorials. In today's video, we are going to be making single and double layer ruffle scrunchies. So the material I used is called Duchess or soft satin. So it is measured 5 by 28 inches, or we can say 13 centimeter by 71 centimeter. So I'm just going to trim off the edges and check and balance my measurement before I proceed. So the Duchess material has two sides, the shiny side and the dull side. The shiny side is the right side. So we are just going to allow the right side to face each other while we sew the short side, if that makes sense. Always ensure to backstitch while sewing your fabric and also cut out excess thread. So I am just going to make little notches at the halfway mark just to mark the center of my fabric on both ends. So I'm just going to iron my fabric. I opened up the seam and I ironed in between, and then I'm going to place the sewn parts in the middle and lift the edge of the sewn part or the notched part, whichever part you have, on top. Then you are going to roll to make it very skinny, and bring the edges of this sewn or the notched part together, just the way I'm doing in the video. So I'm going to repeat it again. So in this case, in my own case, I'm using the sewn parts, and I'm going to bring the notched parts together. Then I'm going to sew it down. So then just ensure to take the excess fabric inside out of the way. Always take it out of the way so you don't sew it down with whatever you are sewing at the moment. And also ensure to drag the excess fabric out to reveal the parts you have not sewn yet. Always ensure to backstitch. So towards the end, I'm just going to leave a little bit of opening so as for me to be able to flip my fabric out to the right side. So we can say you can leave about 2 to 3 inches opening. And this is what I just did. I left a little bit of opening, about 2 to 3 inches, just for me to be able to turn my fabric to the right side. So I'm just going to measure 8 inches of elastic band, this type of elastic band. So you can make yours 10 inches depending on whatever you want. I used 8 inches. Then you use this type of pin and you poke it through your elastic band, and you're going to poke it through the whole of the fabric, not the opening you left, not the 2 to 3 inches opening you left. You are going to poke it through the fabric and bring it out on the other edge. And ensure to always hold down the other edge of the elastic band. You can decide to tie it here, but I'm going to just use my sewing machine to run it over and stitch it quickly, just to secure it perfectly. And then this is what it looks like. And then I'm going to use that 3 inches opening I left to drag my fabric out from the other side, to drag it out and turn it to the right side. And there we have our scrunchie. This is a single layer scrunchie. So the next step is to just stitch the little opening that we left. You're just going to stitch it carefully at the very tip. And then this is what it looks like after stitching at the tip. And this is the single layer scrunchie. We are done with this. Then we are going to move on to the next one, which is double layered scrunchie. As for this single layer scrunchie, you can use whatever material you want. You can even use a floral material or this pattern floral material. So let's move on to the next one. And for the double layered scrunchie, obviously you are going to be needing a transparent material for the outer layer. For this video I used organza material. You can use chiffon, you can use any transparent material. And the measurement I use for this is 7 by 28 inches for the outer layer, which is the transparent material, and the inner layer is 5 by 28 inches. Ensure to check and balance your measurement and before you start. So then we are going to just repeat the same process we did for the single layer scrunching. The right side should face each other. This is for the inner. Then you are going to sew it down while the right side face each other. You sew the short side down. You should sew it together. So then this is what it looks like, and then you are going to notch it at the center. And then you do the same thing for the organza. If the transparent material you are using has the right and the wrong side, ensure to check and allow the right sides to face each other before sewing or while you sew. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to notch the organza as well in the center. And then I'm just going to turn it to the right side and just sew it down, just to have this seamless looking finish. You want to sew it down and ensure to avoid the inner part, because you don't want it to show on the right side of your fabric, which is the organza. Always remember to cut out the excess thread. And then this is what it looks like after we are done. So we are just going to take both fabrics to the ironing table and iron the organza to the right, and the inner fabric we are going to open the seam inside and then iron it. So then this is just to check and balance what our fabric looks like. Ensure you have same measurement. If you do not have same measurements, go back and adjust the inner material, which is the soft satin. So then we are just going to match the notched parts together, the notched part on the organza and the notched part on the soft satin, and then we are going to pin it. Ensure to turn your fabrics to the right side before doing this. So then we are just going to go to the sewn part, the side where we sew both fabrics down, and then we are going to pin it, and I'm going to sew it round, if this makes sense. So I'm just going to sew the inner fabric to the outer fabric, so you sew it round. And guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up right now if you are enjoying this video, and also do not forget to subscribe and also say hi to me in the comment section. So then you sew it round, and this is what it looks like after sewing it round. And then I'm going to do the second side, other side like that. I'm going to sew it round, matching the inner layer with the outer layer. And then when you are done, this is what your fabric should look like. It should look like this. It should look as if you did not get it right. The outer layer should look rough on the inner layer. So then we are just going to repeat the same process what we did with the single layer scrunchie. With this, just turn your fabric to the left side, then you are going to match the right side together, and then you are just going to pull the excess fabric in between, and then you sew below the seam you have sewn before, if this makes sense. So don't sew above it, you have to sew below it, because you do not want the seam to show when you after turning it to the right side. So then just pull out the excess fabric inside, and then you just have to take out the excess fabric out of the way, so you don't sew it down with your scrunchie. Do not forget to check the channel. We have other amazing videos you can learn from. So then I'm just going to do the same thing, leave about 2 to 3 inches opening so I have to be able to drag it to the other side. I'm just going to trim out the excess thread, and go ahead and cut out my elastic band 8 inches, and then I'm going to attach it to this pin and drag it through. You're not going to pull it through the opening, you're going to pull it through the initial opening, not the opening 3 inches opening you left, if this makes sense. And then you can tie it if you want, you can tie a knot, but I'm just going to use my sewing machine to run through it to stitch it quickly. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to use a 3 inches opening to turn to the right. You're basically going to drag the scrunchie out from the 3 inches opening, and then we have the opening left, and of course we cannot leave it like this. We have to just sew it down seamlessly in a way that it doesn't really appear, it doesn't really show. And then this is what it looks like after. This is the single layer, and wow, this is the double layer scrunchie. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video, and say hi to me in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.